Good evening, everyone. We're going to start the August 10th, 2026, 7 p.m. regular board meeting to order. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Reyes,
Here.
Lovchi,
Here.
Moreno, absent. Johnson. Here. Cifuentes,
Here.
Valencia,
Here.
Olivas,
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, nation, with God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is public comment. In order to have to speak at the board meeting, you would have had to sign in before 7 p.m. Respect the 3-minute time limit. Respect the confidentiality of students and staff, and keep comments appropriate. Melissa Cruz.
Thank you, everybody. I wasn't going to speak, but I just wanted to comment about the lack of IEP help in the district. I've had a lot of issues with it myself, and I think that this year moving forward, we need to be a little more proactive in different little things. And I'm going to make it short. Just a few things that I've noticed in the school that could improve is the ambiance of the school. We need to have a conducive environment for the children to learn. When I go there to volunteer, for example, I see a lot of rowdiness, and I think that sort of thing could be kept to a minimum. I've talked to other people, and what I have gathered is that in the classrooms, there's a lot of interruptions with students and busing. So we need to keep a calm, non-bullying atmosphere where the kids are not fearful. So that's just something I wanted to bring up. And another thing that I wanted to bring up was a lot of the IEPs are, everybody should have appropriate education. So I'm sorry, I was a little unprepared. So I think that everybody's bar everybody should be in grade level and meeting that criteria. So that's just kind of like the gist of it, to not get into too much.
What school did you say?
Coward.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, that is it for public comment. Moving on to communications from the superintendent, Dr. Halverson.
Thank you, Board President Cifuentes. Tonight, we have the honor of recognizing our NJROTC after another tremendous annual military inspection. The East Aurora High School NJROTC Tomcat Regiment is an award-winning program dedicated to instilling citizenship, service, personal responsibility, and a sense of accomplishment in its cadets. Under the leadership of Commander Isom and a staff of retired U.S. Navy professionals with over a century of combined experience, the Tomcat Regiment was established in 1996 and has grown into the largest unit in the Midwest and one of the largest in the nation, with over 400 cadets comprising roughly 10% of the East Aurora High School student body. Beyond preparing students for academic and life success, cadets contribute approximately 16,000 hours of community service annually and can compete nationally across 8 specialized teams, ranging from drill and academic units to marksmanship and drone teams. So we're going to watch a little video that highlights all the hard work over the last year of the NJROTC students, as well as Commander Isom and the staff. And then afterwards, we're going to have Commander Isom and the staff come up so we can recognize them and hear a few words from Commander Isom as well. Thank you. Thank you. And with that, if I could have Commander Isom come up front, Chief Farmer come up front, Chief Otero Rivera come up, Chief Good, AG1 Moore, and Miss Sandra Williams come up, please. Let's give them another round of applause for all the hard work they do for our students each and every day. Chief Farmer was not able to make it this evening. Commander Isom, did you want to say a few words to the board? I know, or to the community as a whole. Thank you.
This year, this is my first year at East Aurora. I've been in ROTC involved with the program for 8 years. I've watched East Aurora because I was in the Chicago Heights area. So I watched the school over those 8 years always be the top and excellent in all areas. And so this year I'm on the inside now, and I know why. It's thanks to the team that I have that supports me as well as Chief Farmer. We had a great year last year. And again, it was due to, it's always a team effort back there. So each and every person put in their part, and we had a great year, and we're looking forward to a great year next year. And we have some great student leaders in our program that's always looking for more opportunities to do things. So it helped, and we're thankful for the support that we have from the superintendent and everybody all the way down to the principal in the building, but always supporting us and allowing us to do more with the kids. And as long as we can keep doing more with them, we'll keep bringing them there, and we'll continue community service hours and do great things in the community. But we have a great group of kids, and we're looking forward to another great year.
Thank you. I just want to say once again, thank you to you gentlemen and Miss Williams for all your hard work. A lot of times when we talk to students at the high school and they talk about the trusted adult that they built relationships with, a lot of times it's your gentlemen as well as other staff members, but you gentlemen, your names come up a lot. Miss Williams' name comes up a lot. So I just wanted to say thank you again for your leadership. It was evident you guys can even have a good time too when we went to NJROTC ball, when we went to the Kangaroo Court there. It was a lot of fun. So once again, thank you for your leadership. We truly appreciate everything you guys have done this last year, for years in the past, and everything you're going to do for our community in the years to come. So thank you again for your leadership. Appreciate it. Yep. Next, I'd like to highlight a partnership we have with Family Counseling Services. And over the past year, we've partnered with Dr. Eric Ward and Jason Andrade a little bit more. We've had some vital communication, some vital collaboration that has helped us work together to meet the needs of our students. So they've got a brief PowerPoint they're going to go through and highlight some of the work that we've had this past year. We're also continuing to investigate ways we can support the entire educational community, including our staff. So I'll let the two gentlemen come up and talk a little bit about the last year, as well as some opportunities we may have in the future here. Thank you.
Being ready to enter the second year of our partnership with District 131, we wanted to take some time tonight just to kind of highlight what we accomplished with the district staff over the last year. There are two core components to the partnership that we have with the district. The first one is in-school mental health services, primarily counseling based for the students. The second one is mobile psychiatric crisis intervention services. The goal of both of those services is to help make sure that these students remain in the learning environment, don't end up having to leave and either be home due to a mental health condition or end up in an environment like a psychiatric hospital rather than being in school. So if we could go to the next slide, please. Just some numbers we wanted to highlight. There were 171 students across the district for whom we provided in-school counseling services throughout the academic year. Those came from the majority of the schools within the district. The second number is 224. This was a surprising number to us. This was the number of times we got called for in-person crisis intervention. So when we get those phone calls, it's from someone in the school, because typically the student is presenting with some sort of risk, whether it's a risk of harm to themselves or to someone else, or there's just a significant behavioral issue that they believe is because of a mental health issue that they want us to help address. Our staff typically respond in less than 30 minutes at the school from our office, and our goal, like I said, is to help come up with a plan to keep them in the school whenever possible. If we could go to the next slide, please. Just a couple of points about why school-based services work. First thing is just reducing barriers. A lot of the times we are working with families where the students' parents, guardians don't have transportation, don't have childcare, don't have the ability to get them to traditional office-based mental health services in the evenings or weekends. And so being able to come directly to where the student is to provide those services in the school helps reduce those barriers. During school access, we work really closely with the school staff, primarily the school administrators and the school social workers and counselors. They have been wonderful. We work with some other school districts, and we have to say honestly that this has been one of the best arrangements that we've had, especially for the first year. It did not take long to work out the kinks of the system that often come with this. Early intervention. We know that the earlier we can get involved, the more likely we are to help get services in place and help get the outcomes that we're looking for. Then we can go to the next slide if you wouldn't mind. On-site crisis intervention, interestingly enough, one of the goals, like I said, is to keep them out of hospitals and out of hospital-based programs. We did that at an 86% rate for the East Aurora schools, the students that we saw. The national benchmark, by the way, is 33%. So we are well above that, working in collaboration with the school staff to come up with a plan to make sure that these students can stay in school with appropriate supports once we leave the school, because we have the kind of easier job. We get to come in, do our thing, and then leave, and then it falls on the staff to stay behind. What we know is that timely care is the key here. So us showing up quickly, and then the staff at the school responding and getting that plan not only made, but actually activated. So, and then the next slide, please. One of the things that we highlight is just looking at kind of the financial resources of the people that we serve. The grant that we have in partnership with the district certainly helps cover some of the expenses, but not all of them. So we do rely on insurance when it's there. What we saw was out of the students that we served, about 89% were Medicaid insured, 9% had no insurance coverage of any kind, and about 2% had private or commercial insurance. What this tells us is that this pretty closely reflects what we see in the community at large. And as a community mental health organization, our goal at Family Counseling Service is to make sure that we can serve anyone who comes to us or anyone to whom we go to provide these services, including people who don't have insurance at all. And so we were happy to see that these numbers not only were reflective of the community, but also fell within our scope of ability to serve. Next one, please.
My name is Jason Andrade, also from Family Counseling Service. And so over this past school year, I really can't say enough about the East Aurora team. We met regularly to look at the work we were doing. We met regularly to think about access to care. We met regularly to make sure that all schools had access to these services. And what we wanted to ask and what we wanted to answer is this program effective? And it is. That's evidenced by these some 300 plus children that are served where they live in their school who remain free from psychiatric hospital, which, believe me, oftentimes is a norm. It's sometimes easier to have a child go to the ER. One washes their hands of it. The crisis has been moved, but it's not the most effective care for that family. There's disruption that comes to that family financially. There's disruption that comes to them in terms of transportation, and the student's not in school. So over the course of the year, we also talked about, okay, we're doing very good work here. What else can we do? Not only what else can we do, but why should we do it? So we're looking at two core expansion initiatives for this upcoming year. The first one is mental health counseling groups. Why are we doing groups? If you see that second bullet, we want to increase the capacity of those people who can be served. The more individuals we can serve, the better. So the group setting allows a clinician to work with a group of students between the ages of between the number of 8 to 10 students. That greatly increases access. At the same time, we start to create this culture of norming mental health care, and it's okay to ask for help. The second thing we're looking at doing is expanding some comprehensive community education. And what I'm talking about is education to the students, education to the families, education to the staff. Mental health issues and mental health care for youth never happen in a vacuum. And what we're talking about here is really affecting the system, really affecting the community. So with this piece, our goal is to raise the awareness level of our parents and community related to mental health care, make sure people know that help exists, and they know that there's a way to get care for their family that is reflective of who they are and their values. So all that being said, I again thank you all for your support and the good work that's been done.
Are there any questions we can answer?
You guys have any data just based on the 171 or range of the age of students? Just kind of, I'm sure you have that, but
Yeah, we do.
is that shared with the district and see just so they are aware of where or what is needed?
Yeah, so they do get regular reports, the administrative staff, on which schools we're serving, which age groups. I don't have those numbers handy and I wouldn't want to make them up. It goes all the way down to kindergarten and all the way through high school.
Great question there, Mr. Levis. And Dr. Aurora Erlenbaugh is our main point of contact. So I should recognize her real quick as well. So if she wants to stand up, I know you don't have those numbers in front of you, but I also wanted to acknowledge as well.
Yeah, and we also keep our own log. Every time there is a referral to FCS, we keep track of attending school, age, name. So we keep our own internal data as well.
So are you in every school? Or I mean, if there's an emergency, I suppose you go, but I mean, generally you in every school or just
We're
some?
available to every school, so
Okay.
wherever the referrals come from, we've got that.
Okay.
Good questions. Any other follow-up questions? Gentlemen, thank you again for the
Thank you very
partnership. We truly
Thank you.
appreciate it. Really quick, even though it's not a school night, before I move on to the next topic on the superintendent's report here, could we have the NJROTC leadership with Commander Isom come back up front? I missed the picture earlier. I want to make sure we get a picture with the leadership there as well. So if you guys could come back up front, Miss Williams as well, I'd appreciate it. And I see Carlos standing up with the camera. Thank you, Carlos. The next item that I have under the superintendent's report is the FY27 resolution to approve the FY27 tentative budget. Tonight serves as a direct follow-up to our initial district budget presentation on July 20th. Dr. Mike Engel is here to briefly introduce each slide, address any questions from board members, and provide a deeper look at how the Community Eligibility Provision, CEP, impacts our funding and overall district finances. As a reminder, the formal resolution to approve the FY27 tentative budget will come before the board for a vote during the action items in the finance and personnel portion of our agenda this evening. And with that being said, I will hand it over to Dr. Engel.
Good evening, everybody. We can go to the next slide. Okay. So kind of reflecting back, we got our recommendations from Dr. Grossi, our financial consultant. The most important one here is going to be the one highlighted there in red. It's urgently focused on right-sizing the school district's budget to adjust for the declining enrollment. We can go to the next slide. Again, this is the timeline here for the budget. As you can see tonight on 8/10, we're going to be presenting the tentative FY27 budget. The resolution to adopt will be forthcoming here in a little bit. Based on that, we'll be putting the budget on public display and also putting a legal notice in the newspaper as well. Coming up on September the 21st, we'll have a public board meeting there, and I'll also have a hearing that night for the budget to adopt and approve said budget on the 21st of September. Next slide. So here's the revenue projections by fund. As you can see, most of the revenue is coming in the education fund, a little over $200 million for a grand total across all funds at $265,650,000 in change. Next slide. This is it broken down by visual graphic, if you will. Again, the biggest portion of the pie chart there is obviously the education fund. The next biggest is going to be the operations and transportation fund, then followed by debt service. Next slide. This slide shows exactly where the revenue is kind of a proportion of where it's coming from. About 22.7% of it comes from local, about $60 million. The state sources are just over 2/3 at about $180 million in total funding, and federal source at $25.1 million for the $265 million in funding. Next slide. So here's the local funding as the major sources. You have the tax dollars, corporate personal replacement property taxes, earned interest, miscellaneous financial donations and fees, et cetera. Right now, we're looking at some revenue generated coming in of earned interest, and this is earned interest on fund balances that we have in the bank of about $4.3 million, about $300,000 in miscellaneous. We also have some foregone, this again, tax abatements that are there of about $6.4 million under levy and compound since 2008 at just over $15 million. Next slide. And this is the impact of funding. As you can see on the chart there on the far left-hand side, there's the levy year. The consumer price index is the next column. Foregone levy since 2008, the total foregone levy, and of course that's compounding with the consumer price index, and then the abatements. So you can see overall, since 2008, this has cost the district a little bit over $21 million. Next slide. So obviously, this goes to state funding sources, evidence-based funding. We did finally get the updated evidence-based funding numbers. We are staying in Tier 2. We were 29 positions out of Tier 1 funding. Again, the whole state actually it declined this year. Last year, the Tier 1 funding level was at 75.62%. This year was at 71.92%. So overall, the state did get worse financially off than the year prior. Again, foregone, this is the old, but we went from Tier 1 to Tier 2, and we are still repaying the transportation reimbursement agreement that we have with the State Board of Education. Next slide. Across this slide, you have every single grant that the district has broken down by fiscal year. So you can see FY25 through 27 there in the far right-hand columns. There's been a downward trend, as you guys can see. FY25, we had almost $23 million in funding. FY26, a little bit over 18.3, and then for FY27, about $16.5 million. And one thing you'll notice is the federal grants have been going down. The state grants have pretty much remained flat. Next slide. This is a new slide that I wanted to touch base on. This is our direct certification slide. This goes with our National School Lunch Program to indicate our free and reduced children. As you can see, those are fiscal years in the far left-hand column. July DC stands for direct certification. That's the largest month in which direct certification takes place. And then annual direct certification, these are monthly applications that come in throughout the year. As you can see all the way back in our highest peak year, if you want to look at the percentage of direct certified, was in 23-24 school year. You can see we had 88.1%, the following year at 80.7%, the next year at 71.9%. But what I want to show and bring attention to this slide is the annual direct certification there for July. If you look at last year's number, the 25-26 in July, it was 6,781. This year's July was 5,862, which is a decrease. So we've been decreasing about 8% annually since 2023. And this has additional effects as well, including E-rate funding, because we do qualify for Category 1 and Category 2 E-rate funding. And this also is a direct indicator for our low income within evidence-based funding as well. Any questions on this?
So this is a new slide
This
from
is a new slide.
what you shared earlier in finance. And I just want to be clear. I don't think you've covered the amount of money that we have to now pay.
Correct. So that's a great question, President Cifuentes. So the calculation is based upon what the federal government looks at as the community eligibility provision, the CEP, at 62.5% directly certified students. Okay, they do a 1.6 multiplier on there to get us at 100%. We came in at 99.81% with the multiplier. So therefore, the district's going to have to come up with a 19/100th of that percent to make us 100% free. That means there's no paper application, there's no reduce. Based upon our current contract for FY27 for food service, that estimated amount is going to cost the district about $13,000 and change to keep us at 100% free.
What's the total contract, Dr. Engel?
It's
Roughly?
just a little bit shy of $8 million.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions on that?
How do we get these percentage of enrollments? Like who enrolls, like how do we get those?
So that's a great question. It's through SNAP benefits, TANF benefits, anybody on Medicaid as well. They used to have a program called CHIP, which was the Children's Health Insurance Program, which was also a direct way to certify, but they took that away a few years ago. So it's really just primarily the first three. There's some nuances with homeless and with foster children in there as well.
One of the things to highlight that we've been having some internal conversations around is while $14,000 isn't a huge amount when you look at a $8.9 million contract there, this is trend data that we have to look at and we've got to be proactive with it. So one of the internal conversations that we've been having with executive leadership is how can we get the messaging out there that's important for our parents, but also provide support for them? Because we know in our community right now, there may be a fear factor with it. We also know at the federal level, with the federal government, it's become tougher to qualify for SNAP benefits. So we're looking at ways that we can help that out. One of the things we may come to the board with in the future is potentially hiring somebody for a period of time to assist our families with this, because it does have a direct correlation to our revenue side as well. So just want the board to be aware that it's something that we're looking at for trend data right now. And as we've identified it, we are going to come up with a solution to try and help and support our parents, because we don't want to put the burden of food scarcity back on parents. We don't want to put the burden of fees back on parents, but we need them to help them understand that in order to continue to provide those services for our students, we've got to change kind of the practice that's been occurring for the past 4 or 5 years now. And that's not unique to East Aurora. It's something that's being seen throughout the state. It's something that's being seen on the west side of Aurora. I've had conversations over there as well. So that is not something that's been ongoing just in East Aurora for the past years. This is something that has been a challenge for districts similar to ours throughout the state.
Okay. Next slide, please. So this is the expense summary by fund. As you can see, our biggest expenses are coming out of the education fund, a little bit over 78%. Operations and maintenance at 18.3 million, so about 6.7%. All of our expenses there are 272 million. You'll notice there's one set aside there for capital projects. The district went out for lease certificates, and we are planning on doing those capital projects at the high school, which will be phase 2 of the HVAC project. And you can see that set aside is 3.3%. Next slide. Again, this is broken down. Again, the visualization there on the pie chart on the left-hand side, the big piece of it is the education fund. Off on its own there to the right-hand side is the capital projects. As you can see, that's $9 million for the, again, HVAC phase 2 project at the high school. Next slide. Here it is, everything broken down by summary. As you can see, our biggest expense are salary and benefits. Combined, it's about 2/3 of our total budget there. Next largest is going to be purchase services at about 19%, supplies and materials about 5.5%, small capital outlay, other objects including debt service and special education tuition at 9%, and then non-capital outlay at another 0.5%. So there's the $272 million in change. Next slide. Again, broken down, you can see the capital projects in its own separate bucket there, but visually speaking on the pie chart there on the left, that blue and orange color is our salaries and benefits there. Next slide. So this is a good visualization of our enrollment trend. As you can see, our enrollment trend is there in orange. You can see it's been declining every single year since 2018. And the blue columns, the bar graph going across is our FTE count, which is our full-time equivalency, or the number of staff that we have. As you can see, enrollment has declined by 17% within this chart, and staff has increased by 3%. And trends like this, we can't continue going forward with that. We're going to have to realign to meet the enrollment. Next slide. So post-COVID hiring, as you guys know, we got a bunch of additional funds that came in through the federal government. A lot of that was used for student trackers, data analysts, behaviors, math specialists, reading specialists, social workers, and graduation coaches to help get students back on track. Next slide.
You know, the staff, we held on,
Mhm.
but, you know,
Correct.
the funds then were.
Correct. These are still not every single one of the positions, but we still have positions that were obviously added on during
Right.
COVID times to help the students
Yeah.
for learning loss and help reengage. Correct.
Board President Fuentes, just a quick follow-up with that too. We know student trackers, data analysts, we've started to right-size some of those positions. Obviously, when you have, tiered support that's needed for students, math specialists, reading specialists, I just want to be clear that we're not looking to get rid of those positions by any means. We might just have to right-size a little bit more in the future to make sure it truly matches up with what our student population is at this point in time. But those are crucial roles to help us continue to close educational gaps for our students.
Next slide, please. So this is the amount that was expended for supplies and for purchase services. Purchase services are those in the blue, and supplies and materials are going to be in the orange. As you can see, there was a nice trend kind of advancing that each and every year got more and more expensive. Dr. Halverson for FY26 mandated that the district reduce its supplies and materials by 10%. We actually ended up doing better than that. We ended up at 38.5%, and we also bucked the trend. Instead of a 9% increase in growth in purchase services, we actually came back at -1. It pretty much stopped it in a single year. So we're going to try to continue that trend for FY27. We've also brought a lot of purchase services purchase services that were out of district back in district. So we are doing whatever we can to help discontinue that trend. Next slide. These were some of the cost-saving measures. On the left-hand side there, these were actualized cost reductions that the district had and some savings. A lot of it was through retirees and non-replacement of said retirees. We had about $8.6 million there in cost savings. And then on the right-hand side, we have some projected cost savings and alternative funding. And these are all different ones that equated to about $4.1 million in alternative funding and or cost savings. Next slide. On the
insurance savings, and because obviously we got rid of a lot of older people did retire, so we got younger people, and also we did not replace as many people. So where did you pick up that savings? in the
So
budget?
the insurance savings on that in particular was just, can you hear me okay? Was just,
Take the slide back, please, so that's up there for reference. Thank you.
so that was just the move from Hub to Click for RPA. That's our casual life and property insurance along with our workman's compensation insurance. It was
Okay.
$500,000. It was not necessarily on the health insurance. We haven't gotten on that far yet.
So have you done a study? Have they given you the numbers? Because obviously whenever we are a self-funded policy, so whenever we obviously move our age down of our employees, because obviously the older you are, the more healthcare needs you have. So did they give you that savings yet? Because that savings is going to be significant, because
Yeah.
there are times in the district where we've had the same trend, and it has been millions
So,
of dollars.
Right now in the healthcare part, the only thing that we have right now is just the brokerage fee, and the brokerage fee on the healthcare part was approximately $425,000 in savings. We have not gotten back any type of renewal when it comes to health insurance, any type of premium, any type of experience ratio that we may be having, or any type of anything else, quite honestly, including dental or health yet.
Well, that's a
So-
big savings right there. But then where is, also, did we go down the path of getting rid of all the weight loss drugs out of our health insurance?
That has not been brought up as of yet, as far as the health insurance committee as of yet. But it is an option.
Board Member Johnson, we do have an insurance committee coming up, a joint committee meeting coming up, and we'll be discussing all options at that point in time to talk about everything, because that is,
I think that was a couple $1 million right there again. And, back to this real estate tax, that is a very, I will just say, it's a very misleading slide. Because if we would have never cut worked on bringing the real estate levies down, we would not have had any growth in our district with new homes. We do not get factories or distribution centers. We have no land on the east side to do that. So unfortunately, the TIF districts suck up all the business districts. But as far as the real estate, we were at a pretty much zero growth. People stopped building on the east side. And if we would have gotten ahead of that, because there was no advantage. We were the highest rated, the highest real estate tax in the whole entire Kane County. So, why would you have wanted to move here? in a retirement, community, when you would see that those taxes were just running away, or other homes. And it also goes to ending the cycle of poverty too in our district, when we can give our taxpayers some savings. So again, very misleading slide, and I will go on record as saying that.
Okay, I appreciate that. And we also did reach out to the city of Aurora for the additional TIF information. We have not been given that information as of yet,
Yeah,
but we
you're
did
not
reach
gonna
out.
get a whole lot there. There just isn't, so unfortunately.
I agree with Annette. I don't think that if we're gonna publish the budget, we need to put in those slides about the levy, how we lost money not doing it. I think we all know it, and now we know why, but I don't think it's relevant to the public to see it, because I think it casts
Well,
us in a bad light.
It was an issue where they literally stopped building homes.
Yeah.
So, so you had to have some growth in this district. It was the best we had. So, it's kind of, because the flip side is all the real estate taxes that we did gain, which far outweighed that number, if that number went back to 2008. I really don't think we ever did anything with the levy between 08 and 14. It seems like our taxes started to run away in 14, and that's when we seem to have to start addressing it. But it was also at a time when the district, was starting to grow in some of the other areas, and it just stopped the growth. So I could give you about 10 subdivisions that you could go look up, and you could literally find that construction and how that construction boosted the district's revenues. So.
Okay. All right, next slide, please.
Mhm.
So here's some future cost saving measures. They're up there on the screen. Any questions on this slide? Okay, next slide, please. So we also reached out, ISB had some additional information, so this is a new slide as well. For ISB, approximately 75% of all school districts in FY26 had a deficit budget. A lot of it they attributed to, they quoted this, the COVID bloat, where a lot of school districts took on the additional FT to help combat learning loss. Again, the district has very healthy fund balances. And again, going back to Dr. Grossi on the major kind of assignment that he gave us was to urgently focus on the right sizing our budget for a decline in enrollment trends. Next slide. So in summary, there's the revenue at 265 million, expenses at 272 million. Right now, there's a $6.8 million deficit. But there's also a $9 million worth of phase 2 capital projects that are happening at the high school as well. All right, next slide. Any questions?
To Annette's point, or Ms. Johnson, with insurance, I mean, that would definitely help us if it's, if it comes in lower. I mean, there could potentially be some savings there. As for that slide, we're talking about the levies throughout. I mean, if it's not relevant, I guess we can remove it. I don't have an issue with that. I don't know about everybody else, but I don't think that's published anyway, right? The PowerPoint? No,
Part of
no.
the budget they're gonna put
Oh,
on
okay.
display. I just think it's important to clear the air, because we're running around telling our staff that that's why we're in trouble, and that's not necessarily the case. So, and I guarantee you, I am willing to bet you that when you really get done looking at that insurance, because this has happened before in our district, I bet you there's at least $3.5–4 million right there, that we will save between, if, you do the weight loss thing, which everybody seems to be doing, God knows I don't have weight loss in my insurance, and a lot of people don't. So, we've got to, look at the big picture here. So, between that and certainly this, lowering the age of the people who are on our insurance, that will really help. So.
I think to kind of summarize.
Insurance has made money for this district in the
Sorry.
past, that's why when we really watched the insurance and did a lot of different things with it, that's how we were able to pay for a lot of these projects. And we did not go out and have referendums like other school districts had, nor did we ever have any layoffs either. So
Right.
I know different times, but we got to look at tightening our belts in all these categories. So.
For me, I just wanted to say that having the entire bracket up there did help me look at the bigger picture. I realize I am fairly newer at this here, but for me, it was beneficial. It did help just see the big picture.
Well, I think to
I appreciate you having them up there. Sorry.
to Ms. Reyes' point, to Ms. Johnson's point, and to Board President Cifuentes' point, it's looking at the historical context of where we've been as a district. And I think it's important to acknowledge that, yes, that occurred. And there's rationale as to why, as Ms. Johnson shared there. We also have to acknowledge that in 2017, 2018, evidence-based funding came in, which meant the district got a windfall of money at that point in time that we didn't previously have when you look at the amount of money that we're relying on state aid. And then on top of that, we had the COVID spike, which was $90 million. So I would say that, yes, we do have healthy budget balances right now, but there's a lot of reason and a lot of rationale for that. And we have to take everything into consideration and consider the entire ball of wax. And what we're charged with doing right now is figuring out we have a healthy fund balance because of all these reasons. Now, how are we going to right size to make sure that that fund balance isn't depleted so we can continue to serve our students in the most effective and efficient way while honoring our taxpayers at the same time? So my intent when I worked with Dr. Engel on this was not to paint anything in a poor light. The intent was to say, here's the historical context of where we've been as a district. Now let's tighten our belts and let's move forward. And we already started this work this last year. So Ms. Johnson, thank you for bringing that forward. Ms. Reyes, thank you for the point there. Board President Cifuentes as well, I appreciate it, and Mr. Lofshe. So I just wanted to clear the air as far as the intent behind it, because it was to look at the entire historical perspective so we can begin to right size when we're moving forward there.
Was very, it was very resource rich. So when the days of, title was certainly, and the evidence-based funding and all of those things, instead of us just willy-nilly spending, we spent those on a lot of, things that, our district became resource rich, buying computers and everything for the kids, things like that. So I think, looking at the supplies and overall knocking every category down will get you to your number. So I don't think our budget is so doom and gloom. I really just don't see it that way.
Yeah, I would agree
From a
with
big
that.
picture,
Yeah, I
so.
think we just need
But
to.
I do think we need to keep, looking at every category and certainly tightening that and, what do you really need? And I will say there's another exercise that may help better with the budget. So it's sometimes just making every department, just put that spreadsheet down and have the board better understand the budget. So, this is your budget, by department and, we spend like this much money on, like, say, substitute teachers or things like that, because I think that gives people a more, especially the newer board members, how much we are spending in all those buckets.
Sure.
And because the public display of the budget that's gonna go is very confusing. Nobody can read that budget for the most part. So I think, going through that Excel spreadsheet, just like we come up and we talk about the individual departments and what these departments are doing, just maybe also what's their budget? What are some of the things that they're doing in those line items too? Making it go that full loop.
Yep.
So, it's
Definitely.
something that we used to do in the past, because even yourself, you'll say, oh my God, I got this aha moment. Why are we spending so much money on crayons?
Yeah.
So,
I wish it was just crayons at this
Yeah,
point.
no, crayons are just,
No, I agree. I agree. Drilling down to the granular there helps for sure. And yep. And that's in Ms. Johnson, to your point, that's an ongoing practice that we started establishing an executive cabinet there. So that's definitely something that the board's got more of an appetite for, that we can bring that forward as well. So.
I have a just quick question. When we put this budget to public, what is it that the public sees? Do they see that budget form?
So what's published is, it's the ISB 5036 budget format for the state of Illinois. It's the ISB format that gets published. We also, when we publish the notification for the public hearing, that just goes in the newspaper. It's a nice, standard legal publication in a box and everything else that goes out there for notice. But what legal that has to be posted is the district's budget in the state format.
So the form that was, because I was kind of looking at the finance, the SD 50, is that it?
Yep.
That was painful to see.
It's a great reading. Yeah.
Any other questions for Dr. Engel before we wrap up this portion of the superintendent's report?
I mean, I know like Naperville, Aurora's budget's 1,100 pages, right? And Naperville is pretty long too, but they have like a 3-page summary. I mean, if we have to do the ISB 50, could we do a short, You know, like what you presented to us so people can read it and understand?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Within your board packet for tonight is the actual budget memo that's in there. I believe it's 2 or 3 pages,
Mhm.
and it kind of hits everything at about that 30,000 foot level.
Yep.
Doesn't get too granular, but I do provide, I'll call it an executive summary, if you will, that's in there.
But when we publish the budget, could we publish that too?
I could put it on public display along with it, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think we should. I mean, because we want to be transparent. Because if we can't understand this ISB 50, what's the point? Okay. Thanks.
Consensus of the board that we'd like Dr. Engel to publish that with it as far as the memo?
For public display? Yes.
Yeah.
I think it would be good. I mean, that form was, I mean, I looked at it in several times and it's very overwhelming.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We'll make sure to publish that with it then for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Engel. Appreciate it. Last thing I have for the superintendent's report tonight, and this will be a short one, I promise. We had our annual back to school fair this last Saturday. So on Saturday the 8th, we welcomed thousands, literally thousands of excited families back to our annual back to school fair, bringing our East Aurora community together to prepare our students for a great year ahead. We distributed approximately 3,000 backpacks and school supply kits, connected families with over 15 community partners and essential district resources, and even offered free haircuts generously provided by local volunteer barbers and hairstylists. Families also enjoyed a festive day complete with treats like churros, snow cones, and ice cream, and there was even a gaming truck. We are deeply grateful to our staff that volunteered, our volunteers, our board members, and our community partners whose dedication to this event has helped it grow over the years. And we keep refining it each and every year. This last year, we just changed some formatting to get 2 doors open, and we got people in out of the heat way quicker. We had everybody within 30 minutes, whereas in years past, it's been an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes. So it was a great event, just a great opportunity to connect. We had all of our parent groups there as well, so we're just very thankful for it. A huge thank you to Marissa and Melissa because they put on the entire event. So once again, thank you to them for their hard work, and board members that could swing by, thank you for stopping by as well. And with that, that concludes my superintendent report this evening.
All right, thank you. Moving on to section 5, motion to approve the following consent agenda as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Secretary, call the roll, please.
Reyes,
Yes.
Loveshake,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Cifuentes,
Yes.
Valencia,
Yes.
Olivas,
Yes.
All right, and before we move on, we do have a introduction.
We do. East Aurora School District 131 is proud to welcome back Tom Jackson, APR, as our Director of Communications. With over 30 years of total experience in public relations and communications, including 5 successful years previously serving our district from 2016 to 2021, Tom brings deep familiarity with our schools, families, and community back to East Aurora. Tom is a seasoned leader and an accredited public relations professional, a prestigious designation held by only a select group of school communicators in Illinois. His career spans leadership roles in school PR, nonprofit child welfare, and private consulting. Most recently, he directed communications and community engagement for School District 45 in Villa Park, and previously served as president of the Illinois chapter of the National School Public Relations Association. Beyond his extensive credentials, Tom is known for his authentic, highly ethical leadership style and sound judgment. He excels at building meaningful stakeholder relationships, guiding leadership through complex and sensitive issues, and strengthening community trust through clear, research-based, and strategic communication. Because of his history in East Aurora and broad expertise, Tom is positioned to add immediate value as he leads our internal and external communications, community engagement, and media relations efforts. Please join us in celebrating Tom Jackson's return to District 131.
And once again, I see everybody looking to the back of the room. Tom is not with us this evening because he had a pre-scheduled event for his current school district. So he's at that event this evening, but I wanted to make sure we announced it because it will become public. And Tom and his wonderful wife will both be joining us on the 24th, and we'll get an opportunity to formally introduce him there. But I wanted to take the opportunity for Ms. Swartzoff to highlight his experiences here. And like I said, we're excited to have Tom back with us here. So thank you.
All right, moving on. All right, moving on to Finance and Personnel Committee with Ms. Reyes.
Buenas noches a todos. Good evening, everyone. The Finance and Personnel Committee met just earlier today at 5:30 here at the Admin Center, and I will have a full report at the next board meeting. We do have one action item, 6.B.1, motion to approve the resolution for the fiscal year 2027 tentative budget.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Secretary, call the roll, please.
Valencia,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lache,
Yes.
Reyes,
Yes.
Cifuentes,
Yes.
Olivas,
Yes.
The next Finance and Personnel Committee meeting will meet on Monday, September 8th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. here at the Admin Center. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Curriculum and Programs Committee with Ms. Valencia.
Good evening. On July 20th, the Curriculum Committee meeting met to discuss summer 2026 school improvement work overview. Each student improvement plan centers on 3 primary pillars to boost student achievement in literacy, numeracy, and culture of belonging. It also emphasized collective responsibility across all staff members to move student outcomes. The cost comparison was also shared, and it showed a 91.22% reduction in spending and generating a total savings of $410,000 plus. The school improvement plan also presents progress updates to the curriculum board monthly from September 2026 through May 2027 to ensure ongoing accountability. It supported goal number 3, which falls under collaborative leadership, and goal number 4, student achievement. The plan is to implement and monitor activities throughout the school year using available title funds. We will be having an action item to approve that. We also got a review of the summer programming for 2026. We were notified that 546 students across preschool, elementary schools, and middle schools were enrolled, and there was active participation of 403 students. We also provided core instruction in literacy, math, and kindergarten readiness. There was also metrics that were provided where 521 students completed a total of 1,164 Edgenuity courses. There was also credit recovery. So 217 of our students got back on track. And we also learned a little about the camps and extracurriculars, where there was 225 total participants across sports camps and STEM ignition. Let's see. There was also summer university partnership where we were able to sponsor tuition and transportation for middle school and high school students to attend university camps. This is the 5th consecutive year that we've done this with our partnerships through the University of Illinois Urbana and Champaign and Northern Illinois University STEAM camps. There was also discussion about professional development that occurred during the year 2026, where there was culture and climate and discussion, or the developments covered restorative practices, cultural awareness, belonging, classroom management, and student independence, as well as employee wellness. There was also an all-professional development initiative directly supporting the district's core pillars of education, equity, operational excellence, collaborative leadership, and student achievement. Lastly, we were asked about disposal of broken and worn early learning furniture. And also there was a request of education for the board to approve the disposal of obsolete instructional materials from the East Aurora High School Family and Consumer Science program. Lastly, as of the school year 2025-2026, there was a total of 11,692 students that were enrolled. And as of July 15th, there was 92% of online registration that had been completed. So now for the actionable items. I want to call item 7B1, motion to approve the school improvement plan for the 2026-2027 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Secretary, call the roll, please.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olivas,
Yes.
Reyes,
Yes.
Lofshay,
Yes.
Cifuentes.
Yes.
Valencia,
Yes. Passed. Next item, 7B2, motion to approve the disposal of broken and worn early learning furniture.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Secretary, call the roll, please.
Olivas,
Yes.
Valencia,
Yes.
Cifuentes.
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lofshay,
Yes.
Reyes,
Yes.
And it passed. And last item for tonight for the committee, item 7B3, motion to approve the disposal of East High School outdated family and consumer science programs materials.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Secretary, call the roll, please.
Lofshay,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olivas,
Yes.
Valencia,
Yes.
Reyes,
Yes.
Cifuentes.
Yes.
It passed. The next curriculum committee meeting is on August 24th at 6 p.m. here in the Admin Center.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Building and Grounds Committee with Mr. Lofshay.
Thank you, President Cifuentes. We had our meeting tonight, and I will give a full report at the next board meeting. Excuse me, our next, Building and Ground meeting is on Tuesday, September 8th, not Monday. And that's it. No action items. Back to you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Section 9, Executive Session for the purpose of discussing the appointment, employment, performance, compensation, and dismissal of a specific employee.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Secretary, call the roll, please.
Reyes,
Yes.
Cifuentes.
Yes.
Valencia,
Yes.
Lofshay,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olivas,
Yes.
And there will be action.